AC, let's go. Come on. Hey team, Alan Rath here. Hey, I'm working on the series at the moment. It's about Kiwis moving to Australia. Wait, come on, let's go. So me and Ace are just out for a walk. We're actually just down the road from my house. It's like a pond. There's about 3 ponds down here. They're actually super pretty. There's all these like birds flying over the water. They must be eating little insects. So the one thing I realize about Australia, wait, come here, come on, come on, good boy, good boy. This guy, this is Ace. He's a Bordoodle. If you don't know what a Bordoodle is, it's a Border Collie mixed with a Poodle. Everything in Australia, well, every dog, well, not every dog, heaps of dogs. Oh, I'm just putting this little tripod out for me so I can stand and talk. I feel like I'm putting out like a music stand so I can sing to you. That would be weird. I'll sing the national anthem. But yeah, so every kind of dog in Australia where we live in the Gold Coast, seems to be mixed with a poodle. So you've got Groodles, which are the pretty standard ones, Cavoodles, which is like a Cavalier poodle mixed with a poodle. Anyway, Border Collie, Mini Poodle. Yeah, you lie down there. That's so good. Look at this guy, eh? He's so comfy. He's been indoors all day, so I'm just giving him a bit of a break. I even saw their Bernedoodles, which I'm pretty sure is a Saint Bernard giant dogs mixed with a poodle. So yeah, so we've just come out for a blow off bit of steam. Thought I'd chat to you today about one of the hardest things I found, probably the hardest thing I found with moving from Australia to New Zealand, and that was finding a job. Flip, that was hard. I mean, I tried for over 10 years. I really did. And I think if you're in either like healthcare, teaching, some sort of services, definitely trades, and you'll do so good here. And there'll be so much work for you that you can get a job to come over with. And once you work out where you're living, staying, there'll be other jobs for you to pivot and change and go to. But for me, I work as a creative. So I work as a graphic designer. That's my craft. Also art direction, and I'm an illustrator. So what I do is very, very niche. And actually, in a lot of instances, it's too niche. It does my head in. A lot of times I just want to be a normal person, but like God created me to be a weirdo that stands in front of you talking at this nice lake thing. It doesn't smell weird, which is good. So hopefully it's nice sitting for you. Enjoy the power lines. I can hear them buzzing above my head, which is probably not good. But yeah, I mean, I get to live in this cool area with my dog Ace, and we get to like walk around this spot every single day. So I'll talk to you about my process of getting a job. So I currently have a job. I'm a marketing manager, and I'll be honest with you, I have never been a marketing manager in my life. Within my industry, there's what is called creatives and suits, and I have never sat on the suit side, which is like the side I'm on now. So it doesn't necessarily mean that I wear a suit. Maybe I could wear this shirt and put a tie on. That'd be quite cool. But yeah, I just really, really struggled as a creative. I'll say a negative about my industry is that my industry doesn't really employ a lot of people. It deals with a lot of freelancers. So for me, I had a client in New Zealand that I did 20 hours a week for. And just before I moved here, I worked for them for 2 years. So they trusted me. I built up trust with a client. And once I got to a good place with them, and I was able to have those upfront conversations about me moving to another country, they were open to it, and they were keen to chat about what it would look like for me to work abroad for them. The one thing I did as a negotiation, and I think they did as a negotiation as well, is let's try it out. So they said, we will keep you on as a contractor for up to 6 months, and then we'll review it after that. So I had good people working with me, liked my work and trusted me. And they were really helpful in regards to continue to recommend me through to HR. So, finance would continue to pay me to do what I did. A negotiation I had to do was say, yep, I will, because everything about moving to another country is basically putting on your big boy pants and making big, bold decisions so that you can basically do what's in your heart, the things you love and the things you dream. If you're going to go overseas, you've got to make hard calls. So I said, you know what? To make it easier on you guys, if it works for you, I'll go back to contracting. I'll work out what it means to be an Australian taxpayer or a New Zealand taxpayer and cross all that over. So I all of a sudden became someone who was an asset to them, that they felt like they had a get out of free jail card if it went really bad. The best thing about that job is we moved here in January. I picked up work again mid-January, end of February, so we're talking last year, and I worked for them for that year. The best thing about it was because I had no office space to have to go to, I go to cafes. And my personality as an extrovert is to make friends with everyone, especially in cafes. So I go to the same cafe every day, make friends with people, and from there that grew into other opportunities. Something that I was really grateful for was a friend of mine that lives here. He had mentioned that there was a job going. And so the job was not a normal job for me. It was a marketing administrator, something I've never been before. But it meant doing some graphic design projects, managing some socials, and shooting some stuff. And I was like, man, I can do that. I got offered the job, took the job, and in another video we'll talk the best thing about taking the job. The day I started, I got a letter and we got, our mortgage broker got us a mortgage. So a lot of great things happened for us, but we will talk about that one in a later video about buying a house here. The job has been really great, and I went into it with a whole bunch of expectations, being a Kiwi and working a certain way. And I just realized that it's just scratching the surface and starting again, and that's okay. So I've been in that job for a year, and not even a year, and since that I've been promoted to marketing manager. And as I said, I've never been a marketing manager, and I am absolutely cartwheeling trying to work out how to be a marketing manager, which is great because it's pushing me to try new things, act in a totally different way, and meet new people. The other thing is, coming to Australia, I found that I didn't have to be myself that I was in New Zealand. Now, we all have our own preconceived ideas of who we are, and mainly what we think other people think we are. That insecurity that you get, you kind of have those people that you've had a bad communication with or a blowout with, and you think that every time you see them, that them and their friends, they just basically just make you insecure. I found coming here, going into a whole new job, a whole new industry, a whole new workplace, everywhere I went, nobody knew who I was. And so the win for me was that I could be somewhat a new person. On the flip side, they don't know your skills. They don't trust you 100%. So you've got that against you. But it's a trade-off, and I've really enjoyed the whole trade-off. So I work for a school, and schools here are great. My wife works for a school, and they're private schools. So the private schools charge quite a lot. We can talk about that in another video as well. Flipping heck, man, the amount of money we pay on school fees is crazy. But I get paid more than I did in New Zealand. I also have more opportunity, more people to network. So in New Zealand, our kids went to a Christian school that was part government funded, part private. The school that my kids go to now, where my wife works, is fully private. So all the parents have to fund that school. So it costs a lot more money. I work at a school next door, which is also a Christian school. That is fully private, and it costs a lot to send your kids there. down the road from my house, which is 3 minutes from where I work, there's another massive school called Somerset College. It's actually right here. You probably can't even see it, but I'm just on the boundary of Somerset College. And that is like a real premium, high-end private school that I can't afford to send my kids to. Down the road, there's another private school, and it seems to be like every 5 to 7 minutes, there's another big private school. So that is a big thing here, and I've just kind of hit the, like, you could say career jackpot, where I've got, I'm now 43. I've got like 20-ish years of my life working again. I could work 5 years in 4 of these schools, and then I'd be retired. So the other great thing about having a job here, if you can get one, is Australian super. So in New Zealand, you have your contribution that you opt in for, say it's 3%. I'm pretty sure, I'm trying to remember, but your employer has to pay 3%. I had a friend who's an accountant, and he is dead set that once you work it out with all the taxes and stuff, you actually pay for both, and your employer pays for nothing. So that was way too smart, rocket science kind of stuff for me to understand, but I'll take his word for it because it sounds like a likely story. Here, your super, and something very specific is when you're applying for a job here, the recruiters or the HR are going to ask you, what are your salary expectations? Say your salary expectation is 100K. They're going to say, you're going to say 100K plus super. And they're going to go, okay, cool, because that's the language that they use. So the recruiters or the HR managers are always looking to understand what your expectation is, because we get paid 12% super, I'm pretty sure it is. You get taxed on that, but on your 100K salary, that's $12,000 a year. They tax you whatever, your 31% or something on top of that, but in the right fund and over 20 to 30 years, that is just freaking awesome, you know? What else should I say about having a job or getting a job? It took me I'll give you a bit of backstory. So for me, I had been applying for jobs and no one wanted to look at me from another country. Not nobody, but there were certain people. It's a lot like most jobs. I feel like when you're applying for jobs, you generally got to apply for 70 before you get one email back where they want to give you an interview. And then you've got to get interviewed and go up against other people. Still a little bit like that. But definitely if you are in a good industry, you've got a lot more. I feel like healthcare and teachers get paid way better here than they do in NZ. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, so my 10-year journey, I just kept applying for jobs, talking to agencies, creative agencies. All of them told me there's no jobs in Queensland. We barely get any jobs in Queensland. And they were right. Nothing really ever came up. I had one interview with a job in Queensland. The guy really liked me. I jumped in, worked on the stuff on like a project for him, which he paid me for, liked me, offered me a job. Salary was good. Basically came down to it that there were some moral issues going on and I just didn't 100% trust. That's all right. You've got to make these decisions so you're not unhappy. I went, I've moved here twice before, and even just being here on the ground and doing the hard work and supporting a family and earning as a contractor or freelancer and trying to get out there and meet people and network and stuff, it's still hard yards trying to find a job. So there's nothing, if anyone tells you there's heaps of work over there, it's really easy. I'd love to know their experiences. My experience is a little bit different where, flip bro, it was pretty flipping hard, eh? I'll be honest with you. Hopefully that helps. Sing out, let me know. Be keen to know what your questions are. And in other videos, be really keen to answer those. So I feel like questions are good. You know, like the comments thread, you jump in there, gives me an idea, extracts something out of me. So as I said, my name's Alan Rath. I've moved to Australia 3 times before. And on the 3rd time, we finally made it work, and I'm incredibly grateful and incredibly blessed and really happy with my life. Hey bro, look at Ace. He's still down here, eh? Look at him. Man, you are the happiest dog in the land. Should we walk through the creek? Okay, let's go. Hope you guys have an epic day. And to be honest with you, It's actually mid-July, and I actually reckon I got sunburnt. Seriously got sunburnt just then, standing in that sun. So, all right, let's do it.